Thank you for welcoming me onto your screens or onto your headphones, depending on how you're watching this. I'm Eddie, and this is The Rollback. And folks, I'm here to talk to you today about Barbie. AKA, what does it mean to exist? Like, what? Right, so the latest effort from Greta Gerwig, starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, Barbie is a story that frankly shouldn't work, but does. It's like Rush Hour, or The Men in Black, or A Knight's Tale, or The Matrix. It's a movie that shouldn't work, but it does. They take a kid's toy, they take a fucking Transformer, and instead of it being like, oh, how'd you come to life, or like a Disney Channel film, they ask really hard questions, and this movie is way more philosophical than it has any right to be. Barbie's been this phenomenon, you know, the Barbenheimer, right? Both films releasing on July 1st. Not so fun fact, Barbie was released on July 1st to fuck with Christopher Nolan after he left Warner Brothers because they weren't being very transparent with the Tenet situation, how it was released both on HBO Max and in theaters. Which, like, I get it, bro. I understand, like, why he left. But, like, this movie had no reason to be as good as it was. Greta Gerwig is an author that is frighteningly nowhere near her peak. I know she's directed Lady Bird. I think she did one other film and this. And this is insane because this is, like, only, like, her third major film studio effort. It's terrifying to see what she's going to do next because she's going to be amazing at it. This movie is outstandingly good, and again, it has no reason to be. Barbie, played by Margot Robbie, well, stereotypical Barbie, initially starts off as like, oh, everything's perfect every single day, no matter what. There's some cracks there with her and Ken, stereotypical Ken, because all he does is beach. Like, where is their existence? But slowly she begins to think about death. She begins to think about other things. She slowly begins to become more human and less perfect. She ends up coming into the real world so she can help the little girl who plays with her sort it out. Turns out it's the mom of the little girl who's experiencing, I won't say a midlife crisis, but like a crisis because her daughter doesn't love her anymore because she's a teenager, and as we all know, teenagers suck. I know because I was one of them. And we get this story about what does it mean to exist. We get this breakdown of the patriarchy, the matriarchy. Are either one of them okay? Because if you think about it, the Ken dolls had nowhere to live. The Barbies were running everything, and it was awesome for them, but not for the Kens. But on the other side of the coin, when the Kens ran things, like, they were very sexist and jacked up, and the fucking president was like a cheerleader / bar girl, which is not okay. Like, this film is batshit nuts, and it asks so many good questions. What does it mean to exist? What does it mean to be a person? I mean, it has no reason being like this. At one point, I thought that this movie was going to be basically the story of a girl growing up, of like, you know, from adolescence that we can do anything to getting bitch slapped by the real world and figuring out that, hey, the real world kind of sucks and the patriarchy is a thing. Are we slowly trying to turn things around? Yes, I would say I'm a progressive. But are things where they should be? No, not really. Especially a year after Roe v. Wade gets overturned. We're not where we're supposed to be. We should be going forward. We're going backwards, folks. Don't do that. Vote progressive. I'm sorry, I'm political. But like, yeah, the real world kind of sucks. Barbie Land might be perfect, but they don't exist in like this shithole that we have going on over here. And then to be confronted by that, and Barbie begins to practice autonomy. She's used to being told what to do, how to act, where to go, and then when she begins to think for herself, like, oh no, you're disrupting the status quo, which is not a bad thing. When you, God, I hate this douchebag. You know the disruptors in Glass Onion? Like, Barbie is the example of a disruptor, but in a good way. She's questioning, like, it's for progress' sake. It's not just to be an asshole. She's questioning her existence. She's genuinely asking, what can we do better? Have we been doing things wrong? And I love that. I love the fact that Barbie goes on this journey, but also Ken. He goes on this journey of feeling unwanted, unloved, feeling like his care for Barbie is unreciprocated, and they almost turn him into an incel But Ryan Gosling is so good that he pulls it back just enough for him not to be a douchebag, but rather be someone who's been hurt. I'm not saying it's right that they took over Barbie Land. What I am saying is that there's a point where he even says, like, you can't treat me like I'm nothing, which is a fair thing for Ken to say. I can't believe I'm talking about a philosophical film from Barbie, but that's what Greta Gerwig managed to do. Initially, there was another actress that was set for this film. Her name was... My apologies, that took a minute. Amy Schumer was originally supposed to star in this film, which... I'm not gonna knock Amy Schumer. Her comedy is funny sometimes. Her train wreck, I actually thought was kind of funny. Apparently she left due to creative differences. Apparently at one point Margot Robbie took on producing role. She was kind of hoping that Gal Gadot was going to take it on, but due to scheduling conflict she couldn't, so she ended up doing this, which fair enough. Margot Robbie has really built a hell of a career for herself because she has her own production company, because she picks projects strategically. Margot Robbie is arguably the biggest, I don't want to call her a bombshell because I feel like that's degrading her, but like, she's not suffering the Lindsay Lohan, Megan Fox curse where, oh, they're just pretty but they can't act. Margot Robbie can fucking go. The big difference, the way she's been able to avoid a lot of this and watch the first take, the take? I think it's called The Take, for a video about Margot Robbie and how she's been able to avoid all those issues, because she's picking roles that work, that are not just a gimme, they're roles that will stand out. Even Wolf of Wall Street, like, she stood up to Jordan. Like, she stood up to her bastard of a husband, which oftentimes biopics are not always allowed to show the ugliness of it, but she did, and it worked. That's just one example of it all. An outstanding film that smashed all box office expectations. Folks, this past weekend was the fourth best box office of all time. You know what the other three were? Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, and The Force Awakens. And you can argue Barbie is not an original property, but there's no other Barbie film except for those crappy straight-to-DVD ones. Although I'll defend the Nutcracker. I actually thought that one was good. I watched it when I was in first grade. But that said, Barbie is a film that has no business being as great as it is. Do I recommend you watch it? Yes. Go watch it with your friends. Go watch it with your family. Go watch it with anyone in your life that matters. This movie, it has so much heart. And it's like a crazy thing because it's like part musical, part drama, part political satire. At one point, America Ferrera apparently was the mom that was having issues with her daughter, and she missed playing with her daughter when she was young, because part of growing up is not just when the kid grows up and they're learning how to not have parents anymore. Part of that is also when kids leave the nest and parents don't have their kids to take care of anymore. There is a confusion there, not confusion, I guess like a stress point where it's like, well, what do I do now? I'm not a parent anymore, or they don't need me anymore. They've needed me for the past 15 years. I used to literally wipe your ass. Now what do I do? And this movie's really good. And at the climax, arguably the part that maybe means the most is when the creator of Barbie and stereotypical Barbie are in this like white panel of like the fifth dimension, and she's asking Barbie, like, what do you want to do? And Barbie says, well, I think I want to be a person. I think I want to go back to the real world. And the creator tells her, like, I cannot in good conscience let you go unless I tell you like what will happen, because ideas live forever, but people don't. We die eventually. And it's also fun because like they don't have to explain away, like Will Ferrell even jokes, oh, her ghost haunts the 17th floor. Shut up and go with it. It's borderline this year's Everything Everywhere All at Once, where it shouldn't work, but it all does because it's all in good conscience and we all run with it. The practical effects are outstanding. I'm getting beyond myself. But yeah, there's that point where they do like a video over of like a kid being born, the mother raising them, the little girl grows up, little by little she leaves home, there's some heartbreak there, she becomes a mom, she grows older and dies. Not exactly in all that capacity, but like you see a life happening, life passing you. and it's so fucking emotional. Like, that got me choked up. Also, it's to the song from Billie Eilish, "What Was I Made For?" And it's just like heartbreaking slash heartwarming slash like, it'll get you in the feels. You will cry in this film. I'm sorry, I've been spewing about this film for so long. Outstanding. God, like an A+. Like, I do recommend this film. I think this will be in my top 10 because it packs such an emotional punch in so many ways and talks about so many current right issues. If I'm being honest with you, problems that we do have today that need to be answered for. Catcalling, it's not okay. Harassment, it's not okay. Abuse, not okay. But also honest conversations that we need to have with each other. Like, people, don't be dicks. It's kind of that simple. Be good people. It's that simple. But yeah, how did you like the Barbie movie? I'm not even going to ask you if you liked it because I'm pretty sure you did. Other than that douchebag Ben Shapiro. Again, you can tell where I stand on the political spectrum. Hi, everybody. Oh well. Anyway, do us a favor, like and subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate it. We're always trying to grow this channel. And hope to catch you all soon. Later, everyone.